Here are 100 facts about our world. How many countries use more than one time zone? 22. Here they are. Which country has the most official languages? Bolivia with 37. Which country has the most lakes? Canada with roughly 879,800. Which country has the most Muslims? Indonesia, with 245 million of its population being Muslim, which is around 13% of the world's Muslims. What is the world's largest desert? Antarctica. What is the heaviest building in the world? The Palace of the Parliament in Bucharest, Romania. It weighs 4.1 million tons or 9 million pounds. Who was the first ever person to be born in Antarctica? Emilio Marcos de Palma Morea on the 7th of January 1978. What is the hottest country in the world? Burkina Faso. The average annual temperature is 30.4 degrees Celsius or 86.72 degrees Fahrenheit. How many time zones does China really have? 1, even though they're big enough to have 5. What is the highest capital city in the world? La Paz, Bolivia. The elevation is 3,650 meters or 11,975 feet. What is the world's largest island? Greenland. It's not Australia because Australia is classed as a continental landmass. What is the coldest country in the world? Greenland. The average temperature is minus 18.68 degrees Celsius or minus 1.62 degrees Fahrenheit. What is the longest walkable distance on Earth? From Cape Town, South Africa to Magadan, Russia, it's 14,000 miles or 22,000 kilometers long. What is the largest pyramid in the world? The Great Pyramid of Cholula in Mexico. What is the loudest noise ever recorded? The Krakatoa volcanic eruption in Indonesia on the 22nd of August 1883. The sound level is estimated to be 310 decibels. How heavy are clouds? Around 1 million tons. If you remove the European side of Russia, what would be the largest country in the world? It would still be Russia. What is the lowest capital city in the world? Baku, Azerbaijan. It's 28 meters below sea level. Which country has the highest life expectancy? Monaco at 86.5 years. How much of Earth is water? Virtually nothing. Roughly 70% of the Earth's surface is covered in water. How hot is the surface of the Sun? Approximately 5,500 degrees Celsius, which is 9,900 degrees Fahrenheit or 5,800 degrees Kelvin. What is the most valuable currency in the world? The Kuwaiti dinar. 1 Kuwaiti dinar is $3.26 US. What is the least valuable currency in the world? The Lebanese pound. 1 US dollar equates to 89,600 Lebanese pounds. What are the top 5 strongest currencies in the world? Here they are. Which country receives the most rainfall? Colombia. The average rainfall every year is this. Which country has the most time zones? France with 12 because of their overseas territories. Which country has the most islands? Sweden with roughly 268,000 islands. What is the flattest country in the world? The Maldives. What is the least populated capital city in the world? Plymouth, Montserrat. It has a permanent population of 0. Which country is furthest away from the ocean? Kyrgyzstan. Its nearest ocean is the Indian Ocean, which is 1,600 kilometers or 994 miles away. What is the fattest country in the world? Tonga. The obesity rate is 70.5%. Where can you find the world's largest rock? Western Australia. It's Mount Augustus. How many European countries border the African continent? 1, it's Spain, it borders Morocco. Which language has the most letters? Languages are a fascinating concept. They have evolved and will continue. I'm just kidding, I won't waste your time. It's Khmer. It's the language spoken in Cambodia. It has 74 letters. That's a lot of letters. What is the world's smallest desert? Carcross Desert, Canada. What is the main language spoken in Scotland? Swearing. You'd think it's English or Scots, but no, it's actually swearing. They like to swear, the Scots. Quite passionate about it. What was the last country that declared independence from the Soviet Union? Kazakhstan. How long is the coast of Britain? I don't know. I don't have an answer. It's impossible to measure a coastline because it depends on the unit of measurement they're using, so you may get a different answer. So, sorry. What would happen if you tried to land on the sun? You would be exterminated. What is the smallest British territory? The Pitcairn Islands. What is the easternmost city in Europe? Vorkuta, Russia. Was the moon landing real? Yes. I'm serious, there's actually people who still believe that the moon landing's fake. What is the oldest republic in the world? San Marino. Which modern-day city from the Roman Empire has the highest population? Istanbul. What is the least obese country in the world? Vietnam. Where is Santa Claus from? Turkey. Which country has the highest average elevation? Bhutan. Which country has the highest elevation? China and Nepal. How much would sea levels rise if Antarctica melted? 60 meters. How many of the US states are commonwealths? 4 of them: Virginia, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts. What is believed to be the oldest city in the world? Jericho, Palestine. What is the coldest country in Africa? Lesotho. Which country has the most active volcanoes? Indonesia. What is the oldest capital city in the world? Damascus, Syria. What is the most multilingual country in the world? Papua New Guinea. What is the largest unclaimed land in the world? Marie Byrd Land, Antarctica. How many people have been born on Antarctica? 11. What is the deepest part of the ocean? The Challenger Deep. Where does falafel originate? Egypt. Where was the first GTA made? The UK. And more specifically, Scotland. From base to peak, what is the tallest mountain in the world? Mauna Kea in Hawaii. What is the hottest thing in the solar system? Obviously me. Nah, I'm kidding, it's the sun. In the English language, what is the only country in the world that is named after a woman? St. Lucia. Which language has the shortest alphabet? Roticus. The alphabet is only 12 letters long. What is the longest bridge in the world? The Dian-Kunshan Bridge in China. It's this long. Which country receives the least amount of rainfall? Egypt. It receives about this every year.
What is the tallest building in the world? The Burj Khalifa is this tall.
What is the largest living terrestrial animal in the world? The African elephant. How many grains of sand are on Earth? Roughly 7.5 sextillion. How much water is on Earth? Roughly 1,386,000,000 kilometers. How many stars are in the universe? Up to 1 septillion. What is really the world's largest island? It's Greenland. Where do croissants originate from? Austria. What are the top 3 countries of tea consumption per capita? In third it's the UK, in second it's Ireland, in first it's Turkey. What is the oldest tree in the world? The Methuselah. What is the longest survived fall without a parachute? 33,330 feet or 10.16 kilometers and was set by Vesna Vulovic. What is the largest cave in the world? The Son Doong Cave, Vietnam. How many languages are there in the world? Roughly 7,100. Which country has the oldest parliament? Iceland. What is the world's most expensive watch? Graf Diamond's Hallucination. It's $55 million. What is the world's largest uninhabited island? Devon Island. What is the most commonly used colour on a flag? Red. What's the most linguistically diverse city in the world? New York City, with approximately 800 languages spoken. What is actually the flattest country in the world? The Maldives. What is the most remote island in the world? It's Bouvet Island, which is owned by Norway. Which country borders the most other countries? China and Russia with 14. Where did French fries originate? Belgium. What is the largest French-speaking city in the world? Kinshasa, DR Congo. Which country produces the most coffee? Brazil. What is the smallest inhabited island in the world? It's called just Roumanoff Island, which is part of the state of New York, at 3,330 square feet. What is the smallest republic in the world? It's Nauru. Where was the imperial system invented? In Britain in the 1800s. What is the most populated island in the world? Java, which is part of Indonesia. Which country has the most Michelin-starred restaurants? France. Who owns Easter Island? Chile. How many countries officially own Antarctica? 0. What is the world's lowest recorded temperature? It's minus 89.2 degrees Celsius and it was recorded at the Vostok Station in Antarctica in 1983. What is the smallest ocean in the world? The Arctic Ocean. What is the highest recorded ground temperature on Earth? It's the Loup Desert in Iran, which had a high recorded temperature, 70.7 degrees Celsius in the 2000s. What is the least populated capital city in the world? Plymouth, Montserrat. Yeah, that's it.